Welcome, everybody. Today, we're so excited to continue on this journey through the roadmap for excellence. The focus today is on better access to materials, and we have extraordinary panelists, and we have our fantastic consultant, Kara Orban, to help us get started on the journey. And then Savanna Sill, our Montana Library Network coordinator, is going to kind of tie things up towards the end of our presentation with more information that I think will help you see where you are on this roadmap and to prompt some great thinking about some of the resources that we already have. So with that, Kara, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Colette. And yeah, as Colette said, thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about improving access to library materials and services. You can see on the screen here our objectives. We want to give you the opportunity to learn from your peers who have some excellent insights to share with you today. Some best practices, have the opportunity to ask questions and talk to each other through the chat and to unmute yourself if you're comfortable and join in the discussion today. So when we're talking about improving access, this means a lot of things. Access is one of our core tenets at the state library, and so we put a lot of our time and effort into programs that support access. This could mean improving the discovery of what your library has through your catalog, through your library website. It could mean how we help people to retrieve the information, either physically or digitally. It could mean you're tapping into one of the state library's programs, like the Montana Shared Catalog Sharing Groups, expanding access to the collection your community has access to. It could mean electronic formats like Montana Library to Go. It could mean supporting the information needs of your blind and low vision or reading challenged patrons through our Talking Book Library. So we have a lot of different ways that we try to support access. And those are represented in that page on the roadmap. So today, we're very pleased to be joined by Carly Vauthier from the Vauthier. Sorry, I asked you and I got it wrong anyway. Carly Vauthier from the Harlem Public Library, and Rachel Wahlstrom and Shannon Washburn from the Mar City County Library in White Sulphur Springs. And they're going to be sharing their experiences with trying to improve access. And then as Colette mentioned, we're going to hear from our Montana Library Network coordinator, Savanna Sill, and she'll give us an update on the statewide programs that we support to help improve access to library materials throughout the state. And so with that, I'm going to turn off my camera and turn it over to Carly, who's going to kick us off here.
Okay, hi, can everyone hear me? Okay, thumbs up for, okay, I'm Carly from the Harlem Public Library. I am going to talk about this program that we kind of informally began with the Ani Nakota College Library, which is 3 miles from Harlem, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it becomes a problem when, you know, weather and mosquitoes, and it is a highway, so the danger factor. So the first thing we did to begin this project was we reached out to Amber Harris, who is the director at Epic Mosquitoes, yes, at the Ani Nakota College Library to see if she'd be willing to try this experiment, I guess. And of course she was. And so then we had to figure out, okay, well, I should say we're a very small library also. We serve a small population. Harlem itself is about 800 people. But if you include the reservation, which is part of our service area, I can't give you that number, but it's a lot larger. And so there's that barrier of accessing materials, just that 3-mile thing that can make a big difference. So we had to think of people in our community who use the library and who might be willing to help us out with this. And so there's another patron who is a driver for a company called Island Mountain Development Group. And that's just his job, is to drive people back and forth from town to the reservation, or from Fort Belknap to Hayes, which is another 30 miles. And so we asked him if he'd be willing to pick up and drop off books from our library to the ANC College Library. And he said, of course. And so he's our courier, and we pay him in old magazines. So we coordinated with Amber at the college to see which days and times would work best for her. And we figured that all out, and she made the sign, she made the flyer. And so we put those, we marketed it, we put it on our doors, we put it on Facebook, we put it in the paper, put it on our website, try to get the word out. And I think that has been our biggest hurdle, actually, is I don't think a lot of people know that we do this. And so honestly, there's only been 2 or 3 patrons who've actually taken advantage of the program. And so I think if we did another big push, or like some kind of ad campaign, more people might use it because they would know about it. I know personally, one thing I need to do is speak at the Fort Belknap Indian Community meetings that they have monthly, just so that people are aware what services we do offer. And I think that goes with almost everything the library provides. Like, people just aren't aware of everything that we can do for them. Another thing we did with this project is we made it so that people from the college library could fill out a Harlem library card application, and people here in Harlem could fill out ANC library application for a card. So that might save some steps, I guess, some transportation. And that's about it, I guess. Are there any questions about this program? Thank you.
Savannah says, I love that you're doing that. Thank you, Carly. I think that reciprocal, like that partnership, is such a cool idea and a great opportunity to build some kind of continuity between academic and in public. If people are going to move from the college library to like remain in the area, and then they already have that sort of expectation of service from the public library. And so you said that your next steps might be to expand outreach at the college.
Yeah, I think we just need to make people more aware of the program. And so I definitely need to maybe go out there and I don't know, give a presentation of some sort, something short and sweet that we can help.
Thank you. If you all have any questions, feel free to put them in chat, and we'll be monitoring chat. Okay, now we're going to hear from the Meagher County City Library. And I know you have several slides, so just let me know when you want the slides changed.
Yes, I will. Thanks. I'm Shannon and this is Rachel. We are co-directors at Meagher County City Library here in White Sulphur Springs. You see here our dandelion lawn in the picture. It's no mow May, so the bees are enjoying our dandelions. So we are here to talk about resource sharing. We joined the Partners Sharing Group in December of 2022 when we were kind of new directors. And so and our library was when we took over, our library was very old school. Holds were only placed by a sticky note on the book when it came in. nobody was using Enterprise or searching for their own books in any way. It was only by calling the library or coming to the front desk. So it was kind of a big jump for our patrons and our staff. It was actually Mitch at Livingston that suggested to us, and at the time sounded like a big scary thing, of course, but it actually wasn't a big scary thing, especially big plug for the Montana Shared Catalog staff. They made it really, really easy for us to get on board with partners, and kind of held our hand as new directors when some of the things that we didn't know how to do. And really joining partners has kind of revolutionized our library. Our patrons are now using our library in multiple ways that they didn't have, like Kara was talking about, access. It gives many different access points for people to be able to use our library in the way that suits them and the way that fulfills their needs. And that can vary, as you guys know, from patron to patron. So we love to sing the praises of partners. So we will try to be brief and not talk too long, just because there's so much exciting things going on with that.
So one of the things that partners helped us here is increasing our knowledge of workflows. We did not, and how to search for books. We did not know. It was very basic what we knew on workflows. We had no training. So partners really opened the doors of what workflows can do for us and what we can, how we can utilize it for our patrons. And really it was Mitch who opened our eyes to that, because we were like, well, we would really love to eventually be able to do this for our patrons. He's like, you can do that. And then he would just change the settings in our system for us. So high praise for Mitch. Everyone needs a Mitch if they are going to join partners to come visit them on the day that they launch. So it was, now we are able to, if I couldn't find a book, it was just, we don't have it in the system. Now we have multiple ways to search and find it, which has been great for our clerks too. We are able to teach them for that. So getting on partners and sorry, I keep saying that. And learning workflows was huge for us and our patrons. So that's the praise there.
And as you guys all know, as a librarian, our number one thing is being able to find what patrons want. So when we're able to search effectively, we can find what they want. And then being part of a sharing group with so many items available, we can, 99.9% of the time we can say to our patrons, yeah, we can get that for you pretty simply. And for many of those patrons who'd rather search for themselves, they can actually do all of that footwork and get that for themselves. So we have had, you can go ahead and switch the slide, I think. So we just have a picture here of our crates. So you use a crate system with partners. Those of you who are part of that, can you go back one? Yeah, so they're kind of on separate slides there, but this is our crates and our hold shelf. Just for some visuals for you, there's a little bit of organization involved, but it's really straightforward and really simple. And I just love to look at the hold shelf from the time we started to now, and so many more patrons using it. This is actually a really small amount of books to be on our hold shelf in this picture. That was just the day that I was sending pictures to Kara, but it's just really fun as a librarian to see people having the books come in that they want to have access to. And there's many different ways. I'm just going to touch briefly on some ways that people have used partners. Of course, being able to get just leisure books that they want to read. We could have 4 or 5 patrons just from White Sulphur reading the same book, even though we only own one copy, because if they get holds and they're wherever they are in the queue, that's really nice for a small library. We can't afford to purchase multiple copies of books very often, maybe 1 or 2. But sometimes that, there's more people in town reading it than that. We've also had a huge increase in homeschooling in our community. You can change the slide for that too. We have a lot of homeschool families who are bringing in, a stack of books on a topic. I have a friend who they do different animal each day. That's what the picture on the right is. And then she has some of the books are cut off. If you go one more slide there, I think it was on the next slide, there's some more. Our patrons are able to get a whole bunch of books on one topic if they're wanting to use that for their school day with their kids. And she just has some cute crafts she did along with the books and whatnot. So that's really fun to watch. We've had people with looking for books for business help. Our local school will come to us if she can't get a book for one of her kiddos, something that a series they've been reading or something that they want to find, we're able to get that for them. Different cooking styles, cookbooks, of course. The picture on the right is story time. I also do our children's programming, which is the fun part of my job. And I am able to get several books on a topic, whatever I'm wanting to do, really easily. Whereas we used to use only interlibrary loans, so I felt guilty every book I borrowed because we're paying postage, or that library is, and then we are. But now I just place as many holds as I want for story time, and so that's been really fun and really fun for the kids. A lot of times after story time, families will check those books out that are just here from another library, and are able to take that home and read them. We have many books about different skills, but there might be something someone in our community is wanting to learn, and they're able to get books that we don't have on our shelves easily. Also, we are a low-income community. Many of our patrons do not have cable, do not have internet, those sorts of things. So our DVDs, TV series, and movies are very popular, and we have patrons who have read watched every single TV series or movie that we have. So that opened a huge door for them to be able to have other options. So that's just a really small sample of the ways that people are using partners here.
And then I love all the data. So, so I pulled our card holders. We increased from 2022 to 2020 to 2025, which obviously we're only halfway through the year, by 145 patrons. For 2022 to 2024, we increased about 44 people per year, which is great for our area. So we saw growth in cardholders, but the biggest one was seeing the increase of our circ stats and how much we are checking out. So between
that should be the next slide, Kara.
Oh, sorry. So between 2022, or in 2022, we had 7,689 checkouts. Yeah, right there. And then you can see in 2025, we're already at 15,042. So
and
that's
only halfway through the year.
Yeah, and so we've increased just between those years, we've doubled what our circus. So it's really cool to see our patrons utilizing partners in to me, it's so drastic compared to where we were. So we keep seeing the upward trend, which I absolutely love. We've already had, over 2,400 checkouts this year between the two different ones. So I'm happy to see that trend and see our patrons really utilizing it. And we share as much as we give out, as much as we take in. So we haven't also had any crate issues because our patrons are borrowing so much. Yeah.
And as we've joined partners and time's gone on, you begin to view the entire partners consortium as your patrons. So as we're pulling holds every morning, there's a on-shelf items tab, and you're pulling holds. It's just so fun as a librarian to just see, like, these are the books that people are wanting, and maybe pull a book that I have never seen circulate before, but we've just kept on the shelf because it's cool for one reason or another, and it's going out to someone in partners. And so it's really fun to just see what people are getting, and to know that those books are going to patrons all across partners who are now our patrons as well. I think there's a book or a picture there of one of our clerks. This is Cassie in the picture. It's cute when they're pulling holds and they have giant stacks of books to gather to go into the crates or out of the crates. So yeah, our clerks do a lot of that work, pulling holds and getting our patrons what they need.
And I really liked that in the beginning, we could see kind of holes in our books that our patrons really wanted, but we didn't have here because we weren't aware of it. So watching the crates of the books coming in and being able to see, like, oh, this is a need within our community, was really helpful for me for purchasing. And as far as difficulty or issues, we didn't really have any. Mitch was awesome, getting us hit the ground running, and if we ever had any questions, reaching out to him, and he would answer right away. So we were really fortunate in that. It was overwhelming though at first with how many holds, because we are a central location. Sometimes we'd have over 100 books to pull for the morning, and we do all our polling in the morning. So our friends group is super active and very helpful, and they started a rotation because I would have to use our community room and lay out all the books to pack the crates. And so they started a 2-person rotation to help us pull books. But once Great Falls started a few months later, it really took away some of the high burden for us in pulling books every day. So right now we were averaging around 100 books. It felt most mornings for pulling, but now we roughly are around 30 to 40 per day, per morning. So yeah, any issues we've had, the Montana Shared Catalog has always been able to give us guidance or fix an issue for us. So no qualms here.
Yeah, really the only issue, we have some small like courier
courier
delays. Once in a
yes.
while, a crate will get snagged somewhere. But it usually works itself out. In the beginning, we would be a little worried about where the lost books were, but now we know it kind of usually gets sorted out. So
Yes.
no big issues and really not a huge deal. So if you have considered joining partners and you're on the courier, for sure do it.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'd be happy to answer questions now or in the future if you want to get a hold of us.
Yeah, any questions, please put them
I
in the
cut her
chat.
off, sorry.
Or we're happy to go to the library and just help you on your first day too. We love it.
Do you not then use interlibrary loan?
We do use it very minimally. We probably average maybe 5 books every couple weeks. I don't have the data on that, but we were consistently over 40, 50 books weekly for our patrons, because that was our only way of getting outside books. So it definitely, I thought we would break even in cost. We have definitely saved money in our budget by joining partners, and even increasing, it became so, our patrons were wanting so many books, we actually added an extra day. So we get
A courier stop.
yeah, so we get courier stop on a Tuesday, and then we get courier stop on a Friday, because the increase for our patrons was great. So
But now we only need interlibrary loan very rarely when there's a book we can't find
Yeah.
in partners.
yeah.
Thank you. It sounds like a great thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Other questions for Rachel and Shannon? Thank you so much for that overview. I can tell how enthusiastic you are about partners. Partners is pretty awesome. So we had some really great examples from Carly about creating those additional access points and touch points for the 2 libraries in the community, and that great academic public library partnership that she's working to establish. And I think that's a great opportunity for many of you who have those kind of institutions in your area to consider how you might partner with each other to expand access and that kind of continuity of service. And then from Rachel and Shannon, their experience with joining MSC partners and improving collections, programs, discoverability, and data. So thank you all very much for sharing your insights. And now we are going to turn it over to Savanna.
Hello. So my slide has kind of a ridiculous amount of links in it. So after I'm done kind of speaking, I will also kind of label and copy those links into the chat for you guys as well. But I'm kind of worked out very well for a natural transition there to kind of talk about the career. At the top there, I do have the link for the website, our own website. But I do want to note that that will be updated. So we're currently at a time period where we have to go out for bid for a career. So that information will likely change in the future. when that is concluded. But I'm really happy that we got to hear from some libraries that are sharing items, because that is one thing where I want to make sure we're kind of gathering information from libraries. So please definitely utilize the survey if you are interested in joining one of the current sharing groups, or maybe you're interested in starting a sharing group in your region if you and some other libraries have been talking with each other, and that's something that's kind of been on the back burner. Please definitely take this survey. It's also for those who would like to be added as a stop, as a direct stop for the courier. Please take that survey. I have a pretty sharp memory talking with individuals, but if I have people who are taking the survey, I won't have anybody fall through the cracks that I spoke to before but maybe I forgot that they specifically wanted to be a stop. So if you like the sounds of what some of the libraries are doing, please take that survey. Would love to hear from you guys and be able to reach out to you guys in the future about that. Montana Library to Go. I also have some links there as well. The top one is the link on our website, which will kind of take you to be able to help answer some questions as they pop up, or be able to take you to some links that Overdrive provides that would be helpful. Some of our libraries currently utilize the Advantage program. The Advantage program is kind of on top of Montana Library to Go. There's two options. There's Advantage and Advantage Plus. But what this allows for is being able to add to your library's collection for Montana Library to Go. So let's say there's a very popular book and you're definitely hearing from patrons that it's a pretty significant long wait. And maybe this title is very, very popular in your community. The Advantage program might be a good fit for you because that would allow the wait time for your patrons to be kind of shortened with the Advantage or Advantage Plus program. The link there does have some descriptions, but I'm also happy to talk about it as well, and also be able to guide you to a library who's currently utilizing the Advantage program. Now, another nice thing with Montana Library to Go is kind of pre-made marketing materials. So Montana Library to Go is great, but maybe if your patrons aren't utilizing it as much, you're not seeing as high of usage. The really nice part about them is they've already got some marketing materials made. They also have marketing materials on how to do something. So how to request a title, and other areas like that. Some marketing materials on common things of how to use Libby. It's a great resource, but I do say that with a little bit of a caution. So sometimes they will have marketing materials for a specific holiday, and on that marketing material, it'll show a title of 2 or 3 different books as a marketing piece. Sometimes we might not have that particular book or title in Montana Library to Go, so I wouldn't advise sharing those marketing pieces if we don't already have the title in there. But yeah, it's a great easy one to do. I believe they also have some free print options as well that you can order. Next link that I've got, there's very common things, questions about Libby. How do I do that? Where do I click to do this? How to best search? So that first link is definitely like really common things that might kind of come up from your patrons on how does Libby work, especially if they're new to it. It's kind of great. It breaks it down into a few different categories. They also have some options for kind of common troubleshooting issues that happen. So that can be a really helpful tool specifically for your patrons to use. They also specifically have links on their accessibility. So using readers, how to adjust the lighting or the font size, how to adjust specific like accessibility options within the Libby app. So that's a really great resource as well to be able to use, because sometimes it doesn't feel quite as obvious of how to adjust some of those accessibility options. So great link to definitely save as well. And of course, one of the most common things that I know come up in a lot of libraries is, well, one holds, which the Advantage program could be something that would help, but the title just not existing in the collection. Some titles we just maybe haven't purchased yet. We also have a lot of titles that expire over a period of time. So maybe it was in there once, but it has since expired and there wasn't enough hold on there to automatically repurchase that title. But a great way, if there's patrons or it's something that you're hearing quite a bit of like, oh, I wish this was in here, the best way to do that and encourage your patrons to kind of voice that is to do the notify me tag. And there's also directions on how to do that. And if a title doesn't instantly pop up, there is the deep search option, and that kind of gives you a little bit of direction of how to do that for your patrons. I think, okay, I just wanted to check the chat really quick to see if there's any questions. And then jumping to OCLC, I forgot to put the link for our own webpage for that, but OCLC does have a couple different kind of training options. So the first link is very specific to OCLC, being able to learn, you know, how to kind of navigate and utilize WorldCat or WorldShare or First Search in some of their other areas as well. So it's very specific on OCLC, like how to work, how it works, where to click, but also how you can best utilize it. What is its capabilities? And then the second one is Web Junction, which some of you might be already familiar with, but they do have training specifically just on access and kind of best practices that you can do in your library. But they also have numerous other topics as well. But I given this topic for today, I thought that would be a great one since they already kind of have a dedicated option for access trainings on that. So that's all I have, but I would definitely be happy to take questions. And Colette, thank you so much for already putting links in the chat. I super appreciate that. Yeah, do you guys have any questions?
Any questions for Savannah?
You?
Thank you, Savannah. If you all think about questions afterwards or things you want to chat with Savannah about, you know where to find her. Find her contact info on the State Library website. And so questions, advice, special circumstances. I had a question for you all who are attending today. What's on your wish list for improving access for the people who are in your community? If you could do anything to improve access, what would you want to do? What would you like to try?
This is a within the library, but it would improve access for my little guys. I would like to go to front-facing shelving so that the kids can more easily browse the books and find the books that they want. So I don't know if that counts, but that is one of my things that I think I would really like to do just to make the area more kid-friendly.
Yeah, that absolutely counts as improving discoverability, I think. And we had a webinar not too long ago that featured the Conrad Public Library did a project to make their books front facing. You can find that on our YouTube channel. They talked about their project to do that. So we have some comments in the chat. Nikki from Plains says, we are in the early stages of working with Meals on Wheels to bring books to those who receive that service. That's very cool. Heather in Sydney says, bookmobile to reach our other towns within our county that can't get to us. Pretty good. And Annika in Hardin in Bighorn County says, I would love to give more library closets to our area so that all citizens have library services available nearby. Yeah, Bighorn County, another large county, a big service area. So that's a great idea. Phillips County says, I agree with Heather. Sydney. And Jennifer in Stillwater County says, bookmobile for us too. We've offered a homebound delivery program. However, regardless of extensive advertising, it has not been utilized yet. Still working on spreading the word on that program. That's great. Shannon says, we would love to have a bookmobile to service all the towns in our county. Sam says bookmobile as well for Hearst Free Library in Anaconda. Coley shared a link in chat to our YouTube channel. And then Nikki says, we did the front-facing shelves to our junior nonfiction. Very few checkouts to kids laying on the floor and taking home piles of books. Cool. Thank you all. That was all really great to share with everybody. Anybody else have some ideas that you want to share, things you'd like to try or things you have tried, or any questions for any of our panelists? Okay, well, if you think of something after the webinar, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we're always happy to hear from you. So I'm going to turn it back over to Coley.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. I know that there will be questions and there will be thoughts that you'll have as you reflect on what you heard from everyone today. So Kara's invitation, Savanna's invitation, and our panel's invitation to get in touch is really sincere. You know, we all learn from these experiences where we get together and have a chance to share the things that are working, or to maybe even share an issue that we want to work on and have a better solution for our community. So don't hesitate to get in touch is the end of that story. But I do want to make you aware of a couple of things that are coming up. We've got a great series of webinars set up for this coming June, and then the next edition of the continuing education newsletter that will go out on Monday has a description of a new series that we're doing on legal topics for libraries. The first of which is going to happen on June 17th. So do check out that Aspen event calendar. As with all of our webinars, they are recorded and posted to our YouTube channel. So even if you can't join us in a live session, you'll have the opportunity to see that recording and get your credits and get in touch and get access to resources. We always ask this question, and we are always so appreciative when we get feedback from you. So if you have just a couple of minutes to fill out this survey for us, I will drop the link in the chat here in just a few moments. But it really helps us know how we're doing and how we can better serve the information needs that you have as we go through from year to year. So thank you so much for taking just a few moments for giving us that feedback. And as always, you know, like I said, we're here to help. And if it's something that you want to talk over with the consultant that serves in your federation or your area, you just reach right out and get a hold of that person. And if you have any questions about credits or that sort of thing, you can always get a hold of me. So with that, Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us today. And we look forward to seeing you in our next webinar, which is next week, June 5th. And we'll see you all again soon.